I would say that that's, especially if you're concerned about nuclear power and uranium mining, you're in the right region of the United States to meet a lot of people and work with and network with a lot of communities who are fighting against uranium mining. There's probably going to be 2 gatherings this year. One at the Grand Canyon at Red Butte, and that's held by the Havasupai tribe. And that's, there's no specific dates, but it's probably going to be in June sometime. Yeah, and then the other is a Indigenous Uranium Forum, which is going to be happening near Mount Taylor and Grants, also this summer. So those, like, if students could come to those, they'd learn a lot. And then on the youth question, I guess what I would encourage you to do, well, in the United States, the youth involvement in climate change is actually pretty influential. But they could do so much better. I feel like what encouragement I would give to you is to think deeper and act deeper, because I think the message that's being put out there by the youth in the U.S. and also like at these climate change negotiations, where they're pretty influential, is do something about climate change, and that's it. You know, the message doesn't go into, you know, don't give us false solutions. This is the kind of community we want. You know, push to actually say more than that, because I think actually the youth movement in the U.S. and internationally has a lot of potential to be very powerful. And I'll just add those 2 things.
So I'm going to just offer a few closing remarks. I want to first say thank you and just express how privileged and blessed I feel to be able to sit here. It's very, very rare that I am able to even present a panel to a room full of women. And I think that this is a very amazing time and a very amazing event, especially looking at our current world situations. There are a couple of things that came up today that I think are important for us to look at and take away, and I really want to figure out how to make sure that this is not just a panel for panel's sake, but that we, you know, really try to look at and take some opportunities to get to know each other, work together, you know, whether that's Jahan going down and working with the teacher in Colorado, or, you know, us, you know, trying to figure out ways to create train-the-trainer programs for women all over the world. I think those are the kinds of things that are important that we try to figure out how to do. So one of the things that came up was the possibility for international, we can even break them up into regions, international conference calls, so that we are having a clear sense and a clear understanding of how these issues are impacting us in very similar ways and also in different ways, because very often some of us are on the giving end, others of us are on the receiving end of the issues that we're dealing with in terms of climate change. Another thing is, how do we take this issue to grassroots women? I think it's important that we look at the possibilities of trainings. There are organizations all over the world that have curriculums that are set up in popular education style to make sure that grassroots people understand what's happening. And, you know, I'm committed to helping figure out how to get those tools into the hands of the people who are working on the ground. I want to make sure that the sign-in sheet is still being passed around, because it's a really good way for us to continue to be able to communicate and network with each other so that we can move forward. I'm interested in seeing all of you again at various times during the year, especially when we move into the COP in Cancun in December. I think that our presence, the presence of women worldwide, is going to be incredibly important, because we are the ones who are going to carry the ethical conversation forward, because it has really been, you know, the presence of patriarchy and colonization in a lot of our countries that has led to the destruction of Earth and of women. And if we work to dismantle patriarchy, work to decolonize our countries and the places where we live, we then have a much better opportunity to rebuild the infrastructure of women and of our countries. Thank you.